Good afternoon, everyone. This is Nithin Ramachandra from the NR Hour Sports Show. This is episode 848. Joined by alongside with my co-host Kia Lyons for the show, and also we're joined by special guest, our good friend boxer Chazz Witherspoon. Chazz Witherspoon. We met him actually 3 weeks, I think 4 weeks ago at a football camp, football event, and it was an amazing camp. And you guys did a great job running it. And I just want to say thank you, Chazz, for agreeing to this interview, for coming on the show. It's truly an honor. Obviously, you're one of the best out there, a boxer, and we're going to get to not only you're a boxer, you're doing other great things. So we're going to get to all that. But first of all, Chazz, how are you and your family doing so far?
I'm good, and thank y'all for having me. I'm doing great. My family's doing great. Everybody's healthy, so everything is good on my end.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Chazz, we're so glad that you're in our corner, and we're in your corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So Kia, I'll let Kia start off here first.
Well, one of the things that blew me away was the Olympics. So I would love to just start off with the Olympics and that experience and how that came to be.
Well, that's actually a crazy story because when I first walked into the gym, my goal, and I always tell my kids this, had I known how hard it was to make the Olympics, if I knew how hard it was, I wouldn't have thought I could make it. But, that being naive to the facts sometimes can help you, because I walked into the gym a year and 10 months before the Olympics was supposed to happen. And I said to the trainer, I said, I want to make the Olympic team. And he said, okay, well, what makes you think you can make the Olympic team? And I said, well, that's because I know whatever I put my mind to, I can do. Mm-hmm. So he looked at me and he kind of laughed. And I don't know if he thought I was serious, which if somebody told me they want to make the Olympic team a year and 10 months out, I would kind of laugh too, because it's kind of unheard of. But I ended up going into the gym, I ended up working really hard. And I ended up making it to the Olympic box off a year and 10 months into my career. And I ended up making it as the Olympic alternate. And the craziest part about that whole thing was once I made it to the Olympic box off, when I made it to the trials, that was my goal, just to make it to the trials. I got there and I said to myself, oh man, I'll just be happy just to be the Olympic alternate. And you got to be careful what you wish for, because you'll get just what you asked for. I asked to be the Olympic alternate, and I ended up being the Olympic alternate. Mm. And if you were to watch that fight, the fight where I fought the guy to see who was going to be the alternate or the representative, you would think I won that fight, but it's computer scoring. Computer scoring is different. You have to score it a certain way with computer scoring. So
okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I thought I won that fight. Other people thought I won that fight, but it was what it was. They went with the experience. The guy I lost to had been boxing for 14 years. He had over 300 amateur fights. Huh. At that point, I'd only been boxing for a year and 10 months, and he was 26 fights. So, yeah.
That's incredible. And I feel like I've watched a lot of fights, and I feel like, oh, well, they're definitely winning. They're winning. And then then the outcome, and I'm confused. So I think I have a lot to learn as far as
well, that whole computer scoring with the Olympics and even with international boxing, that's a whole thing unto itself. That's a little weird. Like some of them scores you'll see, even coming out of the Olympics, you'll see the scores will look a little weird because you got to land a certain portion of the glove, and they give headshots more credit than they give body shots, and it's just a whole. It's not like pro boxing. Like we'll talk about it, but I mean, I won the National Golden Glove. That's more like how you fight in the pros. The Golden Gloves tournament is more like how you fight in the pros. They score that the same way.
And it's incredible. That was like a year and change into your career, and you come from the Witherspoon family is a boxing family. So that's pretty incredible. It's in your blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. People say that. I mean, Tim is my dad are first cousins. He's my second cousin. And having Tim definitely helped me, because when I first told him I wanted to box, I was a sophomore in college, and I just was trying not to waste my athletic ability, because I ended up going to St. Joe's, and I went to St. Joe's on an academic scholarship. I played other sports. I played basketball and I ran track. And I was at St. Joe's, and I was actually supposed to go out the team as a walk-on, because they had some slots that were open, and I was training with the team and all that stuff. So I was going to go out and walk on it to make the team, and I wanted to do something to stay in shape. So I went to talk to my cousin Tim, said, I'm thinking about boxing. And the first thing he said to me, he said, boxing's not for everybody. And I didn't know what he meant when he said that, but I get it now. And that's the first thing I tell people when they say they want to box. I'm like, listen, boxing is not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's a rough sport. You're not playing a game. It's for keeps. You're out there playing for keeps.
Mhm.
And you have to be built a certain way to look yourself in the mirror and know you're going to work to get punched in the face. I didn't have to box. I had other options. I have a degree in pharmaceutical marketing. I have different other opportunities. It wasn't like boxing was my only thing, but boxing was something I was blessed to be good at. So I stuck with it. I respected the sport. It wasn't necessarily something I loved, but Tim definitely was there. He helped me. And having that Witherspoon last name was kind of a gift and a curse, only because they compare you to Tim right away. He was the 2-time heavyweight world champ. I'm not going to be as good as Tim. He came up doing it the right way. The fighters. I think the older fighters were cut from a different cloth. They were a little tougher, and I think the boxing knowledge they got was more firsthand knowledge. Like right now, you got. Not saying that the trainers nowadays aren't as good as the old trainers, but you have only a select few of top elite trainers. I think you had more trainers that had that elite knowledge back in the day than now. You know what I mean?
It's true.
So I gotta ask you, growing up in Philly, Philly boy, and who are some of your role models in boxing or any other sport that you looked up to growing up while working on your craft? Obviously, your cousin Tim. Would you say he was one of your role models?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as far as boxing was concerned, when I tried to pattern myself after somebody, I looked at a bunch of different people, but I mean, Ali made it look so easy.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's just a credit and a testament to how good Muhammad Ali was. Because when I first walked in the gym that day, when I said I told the trainer I wanted to make the trials, I watched 2 guys sparring, and one guy was 178 pounds, another guy was 165 pounds. At the time, I was about 215. Me and my dad are watching them spar, and I'm like, oh, I probably can beat both of them. That's what I'm saying. Looking at it with a naive brain, I'm like, oh, I'll probably dust both of them dudes off. Now, one of the guys, the 178-pound guy, his name was Terrence Johnson. He was the number 2 178 guy in the country, amateur.
And you were gonna smoke him.
Oh, that's what I thought. And then the other guy,
that's mindset.
The 165-pound guy, he was like the number 5 guy in the country at the time. I didn't know this. And I'm thinking, oh, I'll smoke them because Ali made it look so easy. You think you can get in there and dance and move, and you're just going to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. And I can tell you right now, that is not the case. There's not too many people floating. There's not too many bees stinging like that. That's not the case.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, so I looked up to Ali. I tried to pattern myself after Larry Holmes.
Oh, Larry Holmes, okay.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, those are the people I try to pattern my boxing style after. But go ahead. I'm sorry, I talk a lot, so y'all got to cut me off.
No, I love it. I love it. I'm so inspired. I actually caught part of Ringside. I think the film 2019 Ringside. I caught a little bit of this morning, and the filmmaker shadowed 2 boxers for 8 years. But they have this child, and he must be like 8 or 10 years old. But what he says in the ring is, he said, if I look at a guy and he looks away, I've got him. Yeah. I know I've got it. I've already won the fight. And he said, if he looks me back in the eye, I know there's going to be a war. So what are your thoughts on that regarding mindset?
Well, mindset. See, the thing is with boxing, when you are in there, even when you're sparring or even when you're fighting, you have your hands up. So you're looking a guy right in his eyes. So when you hit somebody with a shot, you can see a flicker in their eyes if you catch them with something good, or if they didn't like that shot, or if they're getting frustrated. You can see a lot looking in the man's eyes. And yeah, if you look at a man and he looks away, then yeah, you can kind of see that, oh, all right, he ain't got it. Or if you look at a man and he looks down, that's no good. I tell my kids, don't do that, which I have 6 boys. So
wow,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm training them to just be good men, to be gentlemen, because I'm the gentleman. So they represent me. So I need them to come through and open doors for women, carry bags, all the chivalry and the good stuff like that, but also respect men and lead with respect. But looking people in their eyes, that's definitely, you can tell if you got somebody. You can tell somebody's scared, even at the weigh-in, like when you're there looking at each other, or in the ring right before you touch gloves. You can see fear in a man's eyes. So
you're either present or you're avoiding.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I want to ask you, this is a two-part question. Obviously, education, whoever's an athlete, obviously education should be number one, and obviously work on your craft. And for you, how did you balance it out? Because you got a 4-point GPA in your high school, in your education career.
Well, that's a falsity. That's a falsity. Only because I just saw that somebody I must have guess went in and edited my Wikipedia,
Mhm.
but I had a 3.8 GPA,
Mm.
so it was two
Okay.
points down, and I was still part of the National Honor Society.
Yeah.
But that was something that I got from my mother. I mean, I think I was naturally smart, um, because I could study like for a half an hour and get the same A or B. It would take somebody, 3-4 hours to study to get. So that was something I was naturally given. But I knew that I had to stay on top of the books because without schooling,
Yeah.
you kind of handicap yourself.
Good for
And
you.
coming out of that town of Paulsboro, which I know y'all were there, so y'all kind of got to
Yes.
see how it is. But it's like that place, we always joked about it. My family, we always said it must be something in the water because I'm not
Yes.
born and bred in Paulsboro. But
I
people that
agree.
come out of Paulsboro are so damn athletic, it's ridiculous. And you got different bloodlines that are in Paulsboro that actually just everybody's a damn athlete. Like how we talking about Kevin Harvey, that whole Harvey,
Yes.
that name, that holds weight in Paulsboro. Everybody knows the Harveys are very athletic.
Yeah.
Isaac. I know y'all met Isaac. Isaac, his family, like it's certain families, the Sharpers, and it's just other names that come out of Paulsboro that they're going to be athletic. But that town is something special. And we actually moved there because our house burned down in Defford, which was a couple towns over.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And a lot of people was like, "Oh, I feel sorry for you. You're going to Paulsboro, so bad." Da, 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 da. It's not bad like that.
Yeah.
But we stayed because of the sports. The sports was so good there, and actually, white and black get along like this in Paulsboro.
Mhm.
Because of the sports. So my eyes got a little
Love
open
that.
once I got out into the real world and seen how things are. I was a little. I had to get adjusted to that, but like I said, they get along so well because of the sports. Everybody is bleeding red and white.
And
Yes. Isaac told us that the whole town shoveled the entire football field when it snowed to get ready for the game. I mean, it's just,
Oh
and
yeah,
I spoke to at least 3 people who said they came to Paulsboro for the sports, for the
yeah,
opportunity for their children.
yeah. No, we stayed
It's
because of the
magic.
sports. Yeah, yeah. They say the Paulsboro Magic, but we always say it had to be the oil in the water from the refinery or something. But yeah, it's just the people are super athletic. But the sad thing is too, some of the best athletes you don't even see. The streets get them before
Yeah.
they
Mhm.
make it through, and they have some. It's just that little town is only about a mile radius big, but they put out some athletes, definitely.
We're going to be there, definitely there for the football season. We would look forward to seeing you as well there and just coming to support their sports seasons for sure.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So I want to ask you about your amateur career. Obviously, you were a sophomore in college, and you already won these Pennsylvania State Gold Gloves title, and you were named the outstanding boxer. Take me back to that experience, especially in your amateur career, already winning and being named the most outstanding boxer.
Yeah, I mean, listen, my amateur career was definitely when I was doing it, I didn't realize what I was doing.
Right.
Like they said, it's like 4 different levels of learning. Unconscious incompetence,
Yeah.
conscious competence, and unconscious competence, or unconscious competence is the 4th level. But nonetheless, I didn't know what I was doing at the time. And for me to win the state title, I won the state title, and that actually helped me because I got out to the nationals. So the first year I went to the National Golden Gloves, I lost the first day. But one thing I did was I filmed all the fighters that were winning in my weight class. And I
Nice.
studied them guys. And I said, you know what? I'm not that far from them.
Oh,
I lost to a guy. I actually lost to a guy named Dion Elam, who ended up making the Olympic trials. So the guy I lost to the first night at the nationals, he wasn't no slouch. He was somebody that was good because that following year, well, it wasn't quite a year later. It was about 10 months later. He was at the national. He was at the Olympic box off and the Olympic trials. So I was hoping to get a chance to fight him again, but I didn't. But the amateurs was something that taught me basically you had to be in shape. You had to be in
Right.
good shape, and you had to come to fight. Like you couldn't be there playing. You only have 2 minutes as an amateur, and you only had 4 rounds basically. You know, so you had to get a lot done in a little bit of time. And I won the National Golden Gloves, and that's what kind of got people to come up to me and talk to me about turning pro. I'm the first person to win the Nationals by all stoppages, which are kind of like knockouts in the amateurs, because they don't kind of let you get knocked out in the amateurs. Sometimes people do get knocked out cold, but they try to stop it before that happens because you're still an amateur. And the way the National Golden Gloves works, you have to win your state. And then once you win your state, so basically you fight everybody in the city, you win that, and you fight the region, like the lower half, southern part of the state, in the northern part of the state, they fight. Then now you're the state champ. Then all 50 state champs go to one location and fight each other. So everybody you're fighting at the Nationals is a champion.
State champ,
Yeah. So when you win that, it's like you're the champion of all champions. So when I won that by all stoppages, that's when, you know, they came up to me and people started talking to me about turning pro. And boxing isn't like the NBA or the NFL.
Yeah.
You're not an instant millionaire. That's not how it works. It used to work like this back in the day, in the late 80s, early 90s. And even that 2000 crop of Olympians were millionaires when they first turned pro. But the 2004 crop, the promoters and the people and the powers that be with money said, you know what, we're not giving these guys millions up front because they're messing it up or they're not training as hard, whatever the case may be. You know, so when you turn pro, you don't become an overnight millionaire, but you get a couple $100,000, you get some perks, and you got to earn your money and earn your way up.
Right.
I mean, I ended up turning pro 2 years and 1 month into my career.
Oh, wow.
To turn pro. So a lot of my learning I had to do on the job. I had to learn how to fight on the job, basically. And how you said, Tim, I have that Witherspoon last name. In Philly, I don't know if y'all know about boxing, but they have what's called gym wars. Mm-hmm. So when you walk into another gym to spar, it's only supposed to be sparring, it's supposed to be light. It's not supposed to be 100%. But in Philly, when you walk into another gym, it's going to be a fight. It's not no lightweight sparring. There's none of that. People trying to knock your block off and they get hurt. They're trying to throw the other punches to knock you out. And with me having that Witherspoon last name, people were gunning for me. So I had to learn how to fight fast.
Right.
Yeah.
That's powerful. And I also think it's really important to teach to share with the youth how you were mentioning, you know, videoing your opponents instead of just saying like, I'm not going to pay attention to them. Because what I found with all the different boxers that I've been working on in the boxing field that I've been working on is that it's respect and communication. So keeping up on who is in your circle, who is in your weight class, as opposed to just saying, these are my idols, this is how they did it, and I'm going to be like them, but I'm going to ignore what's going on over here. Because when you hold that respect and then follow what your colleagues or your opponents are doing, then you can stay ready as to how to bring it 100%.
Yeah, that's true. You definitely got to study your opponent. That's why they say styles make fights, because certain styles aren't going to match up well against your style. You know, so yeah, it's videoing your opponent, and you definitely got to respect the sport. I mean, that was one of the things. I never loved boxing. You know, don't get that twisted. I don't love getting punched in the face. Right. I don't love having to ice my ribs. Like, I don't love any of that, you know, because boxing is pain management. But I do respect the sport. So if you're going to respect the sport, you have to play it a certain way. And boxing is a lifestyle. It's not just something you can turn on, turn off. You have to live it, only because what you do in the ring is only half the battle. You know, what you do when you go home, the running, the eating right, the getting the right amount of sleep, before a fight, you got to leave the draws alone. I mean, some people think that's a myth, but it's not. You know, that takes away from your legs. So it's like it's a lifestyle you got to live. So you have to respect the sport, and you have to pay attention to who's in your weight class, because you might get a call from them. You know, right? My last fight, which was about 2 years ago, coming up in October, it'd be 2 years ago, but they had called me for a guy with 4 days notice, you know, and I don't normally do that, but it was an opportunity, and I made good money doing it. And had I been in shape, all the way in shape, because you can't be in so much shape 4 days notice, right. I believe I could have won that fight. Yeah.
Interesting. So I want to ask you, obviously, football, boxing, and all these sports where it involves hitting from the head sometimes, or it can be cause some kind of damage. So for you, how do you go about it as a fighter? And like before a fight, what do you do just to get ready? And because anything can happen in that moment when you're in the ring, anything bad can happen. But for you as a fighter, how do you cope with that? How do you get ready for a fight?
Yeah, preventative measures, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, brain damage is a potential downside to boxing or even football.
Yeah.
So I do different brain exercises and things like that, different little things that I do to try to stay sharp. You can read. I got to teach my kids some of my kids know how to play chess, but some of the younger ones don't. So I got to get them up on that, but just different things like that to stay sharp. As far as staying ready mentally before a fight, if you're going to get scared, which I know I prepare myself to go in the ring. So, and I know I'm willing to die when I go in the ring. So that's my mindset. So I'm not worried about what's going to happen in the ring. That man standing across the ring from me has 2 fists, like I got 2 fists. We about to throw these fists at each other, and that's what it is. You know, you can't be in the game and say you want to go to the top and your heart is pumping Kool-Aid. Like my heart don't pump no Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know we're going to fight. That's what we train to do. You train to go into battle. So you just have to prepare yourself from that standpoint of just knowing that that's what you're there to do. You train to do it. And I mean, you can't have fear. You know, you can't have fear if you want to be a boxer and be an elite boxer. You know, and I can see some guys are super nervous before the fight. Go ahead.
Chazz, did you have something happen at all in your career or as a child where you just were able to separate any kind of fear from your mindset and your goal set?
Well, I'm a big family guy, so I'm always about family. So growing up, I mean, I have a little brother. I'm the oldest, so I have a little brother. I have 2 little brothers and a sister, and I always just felt it was my job to protect them. So, I mean, that was just my mindset of, okay, I'm going to protect them at all costs. You know, it's almost like one of my favorite movies is that movie Taken with the guy, Liam Neeson, how he goes after them people with all his might to get his daughter back. You know, I mean, that's my mindset. So I don't know if I don't want to say I'm not off, nothing's wrong with me, but the fear thing I don't get that. You know, I really don't get it. Which when people say they are a little afraid, I say you still just got to push forward. Don't let the fear hurt you. If you are scared, use the fear to help you. Like, so you're nervous or you're going to be a little jittery. So you maybe your defense can be a little better because you'll be faster moving because you're nervous. You know, so I try to tell people use the fear to help you. Don't use it to hinder you. Don't use it to, you know, hold you back or just have you stand there like a deer in headlights.
Right.
But yeah, mindset is very important. But I'm somebody that's strong mentally. And you have to be strong mentally for boxing because boxing is something, like I said, you don't play boxing. You know, there's no takebacks. If you make a mistake, you can be looking up at the lights. And those mistakes are made on national TV if you get to that level. You know, so it's not for someone that's weak-minded, you know, because if you have a bad loss, and I've seen it happen before, people have bad losses on TV and you don't see them anymore. You don't see them in the gym. They when you look at them, they're always, their head is down. They're looking, it takes a different kind of thinking and a stronger minded individual to still be able to walk in with his head held high, still get back on his grind, still persevere through that loss, you know?
And it sounds like you really have access to your higher trust of your higher self. You're going in there, you're saying, I'm winning this. I'm ready for anything. You said you're not afraid to die or whatever happens. You're here to win. And then anything else is anything else, but you're beyond that. So I think that that's a powerful, I don't think that's off. I think that that's admirable and something that many, no matter what career you're in, would hope to achieve and get to that point.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know I'm a blessed individual. I'm a man of faith. I'm a Christian. I believe I'm blessed. I know I have help that's coming from the other side, you know, from a higher power. So I'm good with that. You know, I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna say my prayer, and I'm gonna go in here and let it happen. I mean, that's what it is. You got to bring it. And one of the things I wanted to, it's a common myth I need to dispel about boxers. A lot of time people are like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna be so mean, and you look so mean." And boxers are some of the nicest people you're ever going to meet.
I'm learning that for
They're
sure.
respectful. They're respectful, and it might even be for MMA guys. I don't know. A lot of MMA guys, but all the guys I meet are down to earth.
Yeah.
I mean, but boxers, I can speak for boxers without even thinking about it. Boxers are going to be nice. They're going to be respectful, because it's not. We don't have to walk around with this fake bravado of, oh, I'm a tough guy. You
Right.
know, it's not a maybe. If you disrespect me, I'm gonna whoop you. Hey, you know what I mean? I don't want to
Yeah.
cuss because I don't know if kids watch this, but I'm gonna whoop you behind if you come out of pocket to me. Because I fight, you got to punch on people that you like. Like when you're sparring guys you like. You're punching your friend in the face every day, and so if I can punch my friend in the face, you think for 1 second I won't whoop your behind if you come out of pocket? That's going to happen. So boxers don't have to do the fake tough guy bravado thing, because we know it's all about respect. You lead with respect, people will reciprocate that back to you. If they don't reciprocate it back to you, myself personally, I'm gonna get away from that person because they're gonna make me hurt. But
Exactly.
I don't go around people that are knuckleheads like that.
Exactly. Let me ask you, Nathan's walking away, so I'm going to jump in on my next question. Tell me about the pain management or prevention before any type of trauma might happen or set in. What is your plan with that?
Well,
what has it been?
When you're sore, I mean, just the regular stuff, sitting in a Epsom salt bath, icing, anything that hurts. But in boxing, you're always going to have something hurting. Going into a fight, your ribs might be sore, your knuckle might be bruised. You might have, you might think your nose broke. Like when I won the National Golden Glove, my nose got broke the night before in the semifinals. I didn't tell my parents. My mother and father was there. I didn't tell them my nose was broke because I knew they wouldn't let me fight in the finals.
Did they put something in it to hold it?
No. I didn't tell nothing. I didn't say nothing to anybody.
Okay.
I just looked at the ball. But every time I pushed my nose, which I got a weird looking nose anyway, but it was like that before it got broke. But every time I pushed my nose, I could feel it breaking and moving. So I didn't tell anybody anything. I went in there, I rumbled, I won. And had I stopped it or had I said something to my parents, I wouldn't have been able to be the first guy.
That opportunity might have gone. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely would have went, because nobody's done it since. And like I said, I know that's what got me, the signing bonus I got and all the good stuff I got came from winning the National Golden Gloves in that manner, because I didn't have the experience to warrant what I got when I turned pro, but I did some things and it put me in a good position.
That's interesting, because that's another example of trusting your higher self to make the decision, because you just wanted that opportunity, you wanted that win, and you were getting it, and you got it.
Yep, I got it. And I mean, I always try to give my parents the credit. I was raised really well. I have a good mom, a good father. They always supported me in whatever I did. And even when I told them I wanted to box, they was like, well, we don't want you to get hurt, but, we're going to support you. And they actually have a documentary. I got to find that guy. It was a documentary about that Golden Gloves. And the guy followed around 5 boxers at that Golden Gloves. And he actually got that documented when I won that thing. And it was called like the Golden Glove. They aired it on ESPN one time. But
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. But my mom and dad are right there. And I've always had a good support system. I always had good people around me. And even now, like, I keep good people around me. I don't like having people around me that's not about family. I'm about family.
Right.
So if you're not about family, then I'm a high and by you. I mean,
Yeah.
I speak to everybody, give everybody respect, give a little bit of dap and keep pushing. But I mean, I'm about people that's about their family, about their kids. If you're a man and you don't take care of your kids, we definitely got nothing to talk about, because I'm Father Abraham. I got many sons, so yeah, I'm about my kids, I'm about my babies, and yeah.
Hey, Chazz, sorry about that. These lawn people are annoying me right now. They come in while I'm in a meeting. It's ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but I want to ask you. So obviously, what are you most looking forward to? Obviously, before we get to back to boxing, I want to ask you, what are you doing now? So let people know what you're doing now while you're still boxing.
Oh, well, I mean, I have, and I think I need to go on my Facebook. I'm so terrible with social media. Like, I don't even have a Instagram, but I have a car lot. I mean, I had 3 car lots, but I consolidated down to 1 because that was taking up a lot of time. But I have a car lot in Woodbury, New Jersey. I sit on the board of a couple of charities. I'm running around constantly with my kids. Yeah. So, like I said, my oldest is 15. So my oldest, his name is King. He's 15. He does plays and all that type of stuff. So I'm running back and forth with that. My other son, Messiah, is 14. He's the one that was at the football camp when I met him.
Okay.
Yeah, my other son, Czar, he's 13. He's soccer and basketball. Then I got a son named Pharaoh that's super tall.
They all have awesome names too.
Oh yeah, I followed a royalty theme. I got an 8-year-old. I have an 8-year-old named Sovereign. We was hoping he was going to be a girl. See, my wife set me up. I was done at 4 kids, but I kept getting set up, and I thought I was practicing, and this was live. You know what I mean? I didn't go live. I know we was going live. That was going live before they did it on Facebook. Wow. Yeah, but Sovereign is 8, and he plays soccer and basketball. And then I got Lion, who's the king of the jungle, but he's only 5, so I don't know what he's going to do. So I'm constantly running around with the kids. I did have a couple of kids I was training. I help kids out, like when kids are getting bullied. Like I don't really believe in the whole bullying thing. Not that I don't believe in. I know every circumstance is different when it comes to bullying. But the kids that I helped out, they just had kids that were messing with them. And, you can try to talk to people. You can try to reason with people. Sometimes that works. But every now and then, people need a good smack upside the head. And then they'll leave you alone forever. And a couple of kids that I helped, when it came time for them to have that confrontation, they had it. And then the kids ended up trying to be friends with them. And they went on and things ended up working out great.
That's that respect.
Chazz, your audio went out.
My audio went out? Can you hear
that's
me?
good. It's good.
Okay. I thought because I could hear y'all, but where did you lose me at?
Wait, it's kind of like an echo.
Yeah, there's an echo.
I don't know what's going on.
When you put your finger towards it, it sounds good. Maybe it was.
Is it better now or no?
A little bit.
What about now?
Yeah, that's we can work with that. That's fine.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Has it been that way the whole time, or just?
No, it just happened.
Just all of a sudden, just I don't know. It's something. The Zoom thing is crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I feel you on the parenting and the standing there for the kids. I'm all about family, and I think it's interesting because a lot of different players like yourself or fighters will say, you're putting the kids first, and that's important. But at the same time, like with your opportunity as a mom, I'm a protector. And at the same time, if my son had an opportunity, if he had just one little tiny sacrifice and then he was going to get everything he wanted, then I'd say go for it. I'd say go for it, even though my natural nurturing side says protect, but I'm cheering. I want him in the game. So I can respect that.
Yeah. So for you, Chazz, I want to talk about your career and how grateful are you to be in this position right now? So still be boxing and looking for more fights. And obviously your record speaks for itself. It's amazing. 38 wins, 29 knockouts, 4 losses. Man, what a great record for a boxer like that. And what's it like just to be in the same, playing the same sport as your cousin Tim? Obviously one of the best out there too. So what's that like for you?
It's a blessing. I mean, it's definitely a blessing because the position I'm in, most people that have a record that I have, like that's 38 wins with the 4 losses, 29 knockouts, they're normally locked into a promotional contract. And they can't move without somebody telling them, yeah, you can go do this or yeah, you can go do that. I don't have a promoter, I'm free and clear. I don't have a manager, I'm free and clear. I have a business manager that I just do business with and other things like that, but I'm free and clear. So if they call me to take a fight, I can take a fight. And I don't have to break that money down with anybody. That's all me. Now, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's a good thing from a standpoint of, okay, you get to keep all your money, you get to make all your decisions as a man. It's a bad thing from that standpoint of boxing is a very small community and it's key people that hold all the power. So if you're not down with one of them, you are going to get a call with, 2 weeks notice or a month. You're not going to get all the time to get ready for a fight because they don't want you to be necessarily prepared to win. They want to give their guy all the advantages that they can give them, So that's the kind of downside to not being able to be promoted. But like I said, I am my own man. I do own the likeness to my name, the image, the voice, all that stuff. You sign all that stuff away. You sign some of these contracts too. And when I read a contract, I understand everything I read.
Hey, Chazz, your audio is cutting out again.
Maybe turn on and off the audio real quick.
Let me see. Let me try that. Is it better now or no? Let me connect to the Wi-Fi. Let me see if that'll help it. Better. Is that better now or no?
Echo.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on now.
I'm sorry. Do you want me to try
That's
to
okay.
put another phone? Let me try to use my wife's iPhone.
Now it's working. When you keep your hand near it, it seems to.
I think I'm gonna hold my hand on it. How about that? But either way, yeah, I'm blessed to be what I'm at. I'm happy. I'm healthy. My family's good. We all made it through COVID. I didn't have any deaths in my family.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit of the extended family had a couple deaths, and then we had a couple customers that died from it at the car lot. But I mean, ultimately, I'm blessed. I'm healthy, and yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to stay ready for when I do get a call. That makes sense because with me being a little older now and on the tail end of my career, I have to do what makes sense. I can't just take any fight on the turn. And like Floyd said, he said it's a pride fight, not pride fight. You know, there's some fights you might want to take based off of pride. And if I was younger, I might do that. But I'm older now. I'm playing chess. I'm not playing checkers. I got to take the fights that make the most monetary sense. And from a position standpoint, it's going to get me something. Like that fight I took on 4 days' notice, that guy was a unified cruiserweight champion of the world. He had all the belts.
I didn't mean to lose my temper. It's just I'm just.
Wait 1 second. Nathan, you're recording. I'm confused. Are you going to another location?
Yeah, the lawn people is like too much.
Oh, you couldn't hear with the lawn. Okay. Sorry, Chazz.
That's all good. I mean, ultimately, what I was just saying was I have to do things that make the most sense from a business standpoint for me.
Right.
For my career. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Well, that's great. I look forward to the next fight for sure. And I'll keep my ears open so you got your time in advance too. And I'll let you know when I hear of different events coming up.
Yes.
Cool. If you can hook up that whole celebrity boxing thing, I mean, let's hook that up.
Yeah.
I have no problem.
Yeah, there's a couple coming up.
And I'm a nice guy, so I mean,
absolutely.
Yes.
You know,
So speaking of your next fight, how much of contact have you been with your agent, or how often do they work on getting your next fight?
Well, like I was saying, I'm kind of independent, so
okay.
You'll get a call from a big promoter, but it won't be a lot of upfront notice. Like normally for a fight, you need about 8 weeks to get ready for a fight. You know what I mean? At the least 8 weeks. You know, they'll call me. You know, the last call I got was in December that just passed, and they called me with 2 weeks notice. You know, they wanted me to fight this guy. He's not a walk in the park. You know, this Croatian gold medalist guy. They wanted me to fight, and I was like, that's not enough time. You know, so it didn't make sense. You know, monetarily or just from a standpoint for health reasons, it doesn't make sense because there's no worse place to be than in the ring and tired or out of shape and not ready, and the guy standing across from you is in shape. In the ring, there's no worse place to be in the world. You know, because you're about to get behind handed to you. There's not really much you can do about it. Because once you run out of steam, you're done. You know, in my heart, I'm cool, so I'm gonna just keep fighting until I get hurt. You know, my corner would have to save me from myself, type of thing.
It's interesting because the boxers that have come back into the ring that are older than yourself have not run out of steam, and I feel like that's interesting that you should say that because I feel like that's a big part.
What is it? Like when you watch a guy like Bernard Hopkins, or even a Floyd Mayweather, what these guys are doing in the ring, and even somebody like Andre Ward, they're so technical and they're so strategic that people that average novice boxer, they don't even know what they're watching. You know, I'm watching it at a higher level just because I'm a fighter. So I'm watching him set him up for another shot coming up. I'm watching him give him the angles. I'm watching the different setup shots he's doing. It's almost like how a pool player hits a pool ball, and he's not trying to hit
Yeah.
That's what the fighters are doing. Somebody like Floyd, somebody like Bernard Hopkins, they're so masterful at what they're doing. They might look boring to the average novice boxer that just wants to see a bunch of blood and everything flying around. But to somebody who knows what they're looking at, they are doing a work of art that paint the Mona Lisa out there, because you're seeing what they're setting them up for. And you're watching at a different level. So, yeah, the older fighters, I'm trying to be an older fighter. If I can be an older fighter, be that graceful and in shape, and if I'm blessed to be able to bring all that knowledge into the game, I'll do that. But like I said, it has to be the right situation.
Right.
So now we do this fun little segment on the show. It's called the rapid fire segment. You ready for this?
How does that work? Give me what's the gist of it so I know what I'm getting myself into.
All right. So, for example, I was going to say, well, what's your most memorable fight so far in your career?
We both go question to question, back to back, and it can be light questions, quick, easy, fun.
Oh, okay. It don't need to be a long.
Drawn out answers.
Yeah.
So, for you, what's your most memorable fight so far in your career?
My most memorable
Fight was a fight against a guy named Ty Cobb in Atlantic City.
Oh, wow.
That's when I thought I was in the zone type of thing. I was fighting without thinking about it. And everything was flowing. I dropped him like 3 times in the 1 round, and I stopped him in the 3rd round. So that's my most memorable fight.
That's awesome. What's your best way to get psyched up?
best way to get. I listen to jazz, listen to gospel music, and for some reason that gets me going. I don't know. I do most jazz will put people to sleep, but jazz.
I love it.
It gets me going. So yeah.
That's awesome. So obviously you're a Philly boy, and you do grow up an Eagles fan. Yesterday we had Trent. I had Trent call on the show yesterday. Obviously a former Eagle. Did you grow up watching the Eagles?
So this is what I learned about the Eagles. This ain't gonna be a short answer, but my dad taught me a long time ago that the Eagles will break your heart every time.
Oh.
So I've learned to watch them and root for them at an arm's length because not trying to get your feelings hurt, you know. So I'm always rooting for them to win. But people be like, "Yo, are you an Eagles fan?" I'm like, "Yeah," but I don't get too invested in that because you will get your feelings hurt. So I learned that a long time ago. But I do like the Eagles. I always want them to win, but you know, it is what it is.
Favorite sport to watch?
Favorite sport? I've been liking basketball lately. Yeah. Basketball, because the game is just elevating and you got guys shooting from damn near half court. And I used to play basketball. So in my mind, I still think of myself as a basketball player. So when people say, "Oh, you're tall," I'm like, well, I'm not that tall. 6'4" is not tall as a basketball player. So I still think of myself as a basketball player.
Interesting.
So speaking of basketball, what are your thoughts on these NBA finals so far? Obviously, it's 2-2 now, tied 2-2. The Bucks came back in the series. Now it's a series. But I picked the Suns in 5. Obviously, that's gone. So I'm picking the Suns in 6 or 7 now. So
I mean, I want Chris Paul to get a ring. I mean, he's been there grinding. I think Giannis will have another opportunity to get a ring if he doesn't get one now. So I'm rooting for Chris Paul. But yeah, it is a good series. Definitely a good series.
Agreed. Favorite food?
Oh, I know it's going to be a little cliche, but I mean, I like chicken. Chicken wings. Not just any kind of chicken. Chicken wings. Me and chicken wings we are friends. I am a friend of chicken, and chicken's a friend of me. And yeah.
Love it. Love that hot sauce.
Yeah. Frank's hot sauce.
I agree. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had the chance to sit with any boxer for lunch, who would it be?
Wow. Any boxer for lunch? I guess. I mean, I would say it would have been Muhammad Ali. But Mike Tyson is very interesting too. And I know people got to see that once he came out with his little series.
Yeah.
But I spoke to Mike a couple times on the phone, and he's just a very engaging guy, and he's not who you think he is. He's actually really good people, man. Real good people.
Favorite way to relax?
Wow. Well, we're not going to say what my real answer is to that. So I'm just going to say favorite way to relax. Listening to music. How about that?
That's good.
Yeah.
So what's the scouting reports on your 6 kids?
The scouting reports?
Yeah.
And on the 7th.
And the 7th.
No, first off,
relaxing with the 7th.
No, hold on. First off, if you have another one, I'll have another one. That's what I tell people that tell me to have another kid. Yeah, no, the scouting report on my kids is that I'm raising them to be leaders. I'm raising them to be gentlemen. I'm raising them to be the type of young man that you want your daughter to bring home, just because the caliber of young man I'm seeing put out today in the world, I wouldn't want none of them coming home if I had a daughter. So I'm trying to raise them to be the guy you would love your daughter to be with, just because you need more people like that. I'm raising them to be business minded. I'm not a 9-to-5 guy. I only had a 9-to-5 when I was in college delivering pizza. Outside of that, I've always been a business owner or run my own stuff. My wife has her own cake business, you know. And when I say cakes, I don't mean like she bakes like little rinky-dink cakes. She does cake boss type cakes. If I showed you some of her fake cakes, you'd be like, that's not even a real cake. And it's like, yeah, that's a cake.
I want one. That's awesome.
So scouting report is, I mean, I'm raising young, hopefully successful young men in whatever they choose to do. I want some of them to get some scholarships to save me money on the college tip. But my oldest son, he don't like sports. He's acting and he gets the lead role in plays. And so, I mean, I want them to just do whatever they want to do. I'm pushing them to just try to, whatever you want to be good at, be willing to practice and work hard at is the main thing. So I'm just raising them to be successful.
That's great. My older son is into the acting. He wants to be a director. And my younger son is like I said to Isaac, his kids are ready for the NFL. Mine just need the coaching, but my little guy is all football. So let me ask you this. With your work so much with the youth, which I think is awesome, and you do the coaching, the boxing, do you have any plans to do any mentoring with mentorship programs with the youth?
I'm thinking about it. It's just right now. See, once I commit myself to something, I want to give it 100%. So the fact that I know I can't do it 100% right now is the only reason why I'm doing it more full time. I actually used to run an after school program years ago in Camden until the funding got pulled and we couldn't keep doing it. But I ran an after school program that had to do with boxing and basketball. You met Rob Hartshaw.
Yeah.
Part for me. And he would be a good guy for y'all to interview because he's actually,
for sure.
When I didn't go out for the basketball team to walk out on the team as a walk-on, he went out on the team and he ended up being the first guy to go from being a Division I cheerleader to being a Division I basketball player. He's the first person in history to ever do that.
Wow.
Yeah, so when I didn't go out for the team and I stuck with the boxing, he went out for the team and made it. And he's the first person, like I said, to go from being a Division I cheerleader to a Division I basketball player. He's really good. He'd be a great interview for you.
That's incredible. Yeah. And just the fact that you guys are connected and friends, I feel like you would be a great mentor. I could see that. I'm glad that you did that, and I'm glad that your 6 sons have you.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so the last 2 things here before they let you go, our team is part of this foundation called the Hugh Jackson Foundation. He's a former NFL coach. He's now the offensive coordinator at Tennessee State with Eddie George, and we're trying to help him prevent human trafficking, making sure the community stays safe, the kids stay safe. So I'll send you the foundation for you and your wife so that you guys can check it out.
Yeah, send it over. I'm a part of a charity called Friends and Allies, and they help military families in the community and people deal with post-traumatic stress and domestic violence and all that type of stuff. And that's out of North Carolina. But yeah, send your stuff over, definitely.
And I want to send you some stuff too, Chazz, because I work with my other company. We work with different charities as well. So
okay,
that's
beautiful.
Great.
Beautiful. And if y'all ever need me to come speak somewhere or need help with something that I can help with, I mean, I'm around.
Absolutely.
And the last thing here, would you like to say anything to the nurses, doctors, and essential workers right now?
Oh, just that I appreciate what they're doing. I'm vaccinated, so I'm not part of the problem. I'm trying to talk people into getting vaccinated because I know it's hard what they're doing, and with people not, I guess, doing their part, it's making it harder for the doctors, the nurses, and all that, and they're getting overwhelmed. So I'm just appreciative of what they've been doing. I appreciate what they are doing, and I mean, I hope it gets easier for them. You know, it's been a rough year, but hopefully it can get better. And I mean, I'll do whatever I can to help along those lines as well.
Yeah. Well said. And there it is. That wraps up episode 848 with boxer Chazz Witherspoon. Go follow him on all social media formats. He does a great job. Good luck on your next fight. Hopefully you get the fight soon. But if not, we'll hook you up with the celebrity boxing fight so you can fight in that league.
I need that. Y'all gonna be y'all gonna work that for me.
Yeah. But thank you again for coming on the show. And it was awesome meeting you in person. And Obviously, like you said, we'll stay connected. We would like to have you back on the show and help each other out, and you and your family stay safe.
Beautiful. Y'all too. Be safe, be blessed, and I'm around. So anytime y'all need me, let me know.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chazz.